So what can we expect if Obama wins? Well, first of all, the Bush tax cuts are likely to expire. Any deal that he will cut with Congress, particularly at the top end, he's been running on this. He's not likely to backtrack on it. He will be, if he wins, he will be emboldened on this. I feel like he got a mandate on this issue because it was a primary part of his campaign. The top rates will definitely go up. They will go up to the Bush, pre-Bush era, the Clinton era, of 39.6. I have entitlement reform with a question mark. My personal view is if Obama had embraced entitlement reform and the budget reform that was in the so-called Bowles-Simpson package, he didn't have to endorse it. Just say, you know, this is a path forward. I urge Congress to take it up. I'm going to work with Congress to enact all or part of this so we can get our fiscal house in order. I think he would be walking to re-election. He didn't take that opportunity, and I think he's suffering for it. Comprehensive tax reform, again, possibility if he wins, if he's re-elected, but that tax reform is probably not going to look the way that we would like to design it. We'll likely see increased regulatory activity in both labor and environment. I mean, he's been pretty, this administration has been pretty active in these areas, and we can only expect that to continue. Further restrictions on domestic energy production, which was something that Congressman Miller talked about. He would probably get 1 or 2 Supreme Court nominations that likely would not be pro-business candidates, and then more regulations on special preference. We're fighting one right now in the highway program. Basically, new proposed rules have come out. The comment period now has been extended to December 24th, I think. For us, one of the problems with the new DBE regulations for the highway program is it essentially requires bid listing. You know, now you would list your subcontractors and your DBE partners after getting the award. Now this would require you to list them before submitting the award. And if after the award one of your subcontractors decides they can't do the job, you have to get written confirmation from them that they are pulling out. You also have to find another minority or DBE subcontractor to fill that slot, and price cannot be a determinative factor in turning down a DBE sub when replacing them. So that would have significant impact on us. We're in the process now of doing a study that demonstrates that the DBE participation is higher than what DOT is claiming, so that we can make a case that there's no need to have further regulations in this area. If Romney wins, I think we will see comprehensive tax reform. And I think it'll be along the lines of what he's been proposing, lowering the rates for everybody, lowering the corporate rate, eliminating deductions, or what a lot of people are calling expenditures, putting a cap on what personal deductions you can make, which basically would help level the playing field there, broaden the tax base, et cetera. Entitlement reform, I think that's why Paul Ryan's on the ticket. He would likely lead an effort there on entitlement reform. He's fond of saying that, and this is one of the scariest things when you're looking at the fiscal cliff, by 2025, all of the revenues collected by the federal government will go to 3 things: Social Security, Medicare, and interest on the national debt. There will be no other money for Homeland Security, infrastructure, school lunches, etc. So that's pretty daunting, and that underscores the necessity for entitlement reform. You'd see more energy permits. Romney's already been out there talking about how he wants to increase domestic production. You know, all the talk of repealing Obamacare, not going to happen. If anything's going to happen, it's going to be reform. And the reason for that is that there are 2 elements of Obamacare that are pretty popular. Obviously, the one on pre-existing conditions, not denying coverage for pre-existing conditions, and in covering adult children, whatever that means, up until they're 26. And then less regulations on business, and then infrastructure. This is going to be one of the biggest challenges we would have with a Romney administration. because we will be challenged to make the case on infrastructure investment. Now, the good news is he says he's not for devolution. We've had that conversation with him. But I think Joe and I recently were in a small meeting with Congressman Ryan. And we posed the question to him, you know, your economic program that the campaign is running under is very positive for the construction industry, for the private construction markets. Eliminating regulations, tax reform, we think will all have a positive impact on private construction markets. Where we're concerned is with the indiscriminate spending cuts, with the need to reform the budget. What is going to be the priority and the emphasis on infrastructure investment? And how do we make the case of the importance of that to our economic security? And he basically said that, Ryan said, listen, we understand the importance of infrastructure investment. I worked with Speaker Boehner to try to find more revenues in get in the Highway Trust Fund, which is true. He devised a plan to get royalties from oil and natural gas exploration to get deposited in the Highway Trust Fund. And so we recognize that the Highway Trust Fund needs to be maintained. We need to find additional revenues there. Obviously, he wasn't going to support a gas tax in that meeting. But we think we have an opportunity in a grand bargain on the budget or in comprehensive tax reform or in a combination of both to get an increase in the gas tax. The template is there in the Bowles-Simpson report. That called for it. If you look in the past, the last two times Congress and the administration got together and worked out a big budget package, in both instances in 1991 and in 1993, it included an increase in the gas tax. So that's where we have to hide it. So that will, we think, present an opportunity for us. Joe mentioned, and I'll just briefly mention again, constructionvotes.com. You can look at what the voting records of your delegation are. You can look at where the presidential candidates stand on our issues. You can get voter information on how to make sure you're registered in time, the rules in your locality for absentee voting. And then also, most importantly, how to talk to your employees about these issues. Studies show that employees view their employers as a credible source of information about candidates and about issues. And if you go on this website, it will show you how to talk to your employees about these issues.